First of all, welcome. This is Managers and Agents, Your Keys to Success. You know, other than how to write a great screenplay, this is a #1 topic for a lot of writers who reach out to us. I'm Robert L. McCullough. I've written, directed, and produced dozens of series, sold several pilots, and had feature scripts optioned by the major studios.
Hi, I'm Suzanne Herrera-McCullough. For those of you who don't know us, I'm an actor, a screenwriter, an author, and a co-host of the Where Hollywood Hides podcast. Between Bob and I, we have more than 300 film and television credits and produced credits and a lot of experience we're eager to share with you about agents and managers. I hope you'll stay with us to the very end of today's conversation because we have a nice surprise for everyone at the very end of today's webinar.
Right. Throughout our careers, Suzanne and I have had several lawyers, managers, and close to a dozen agents.
And today, besides the question, how do I write the best script? The #1 question we get more than any other is the one you probably have. How do I get that agent or manager to help me out?
Well, we're here today to help guide you through that process.
And the process starts with having a terrific script. We cannot emphasize how important, because without a good script, nothing's going to happen.
You need to have scripts ready for the professional marketplace that clearly demonstrate your abilities as a screenwriter. Those scripts need to check several boxes. They should involve marketable concepts with stories told in some variation of the classic 3-act structure, with a clearly defined beginning, middle, and end, and compelling, inciting incidents with characters that everybody cares about very quickly.
It goes without saying that any script you show to anyone in the business needs to conform to industry standards, formatting, and be written in an appropriate tone and pace for your story and concept.
This is all discussed in the 4 books I've written on the subjects, one of which is just being released this week.
Are you excited?
I'm very excited. Just came out 2 days ago. It's called The Hollywood Screenwriter, An Insider's Guide to Professional Screenwriting. It's a concise and bottom line approach to the writing of a fully professional screenplay.
So you got a great script, you think, and is ready to go out into the professional marketplace. That means that you've had objective readings from someone other than a parent or a sibling, or your best friend, or who just loves movies. Today, one of the best ways to get that feedback and to find out where you stand as a writer is to enter one of the one or more reputable screenplay contests out there.
By reputable, we mean you need to look for contests that have experienced professional readers with professional writing backgrounds, and a contest that identifies their judging panel. And you need to see people with genuine industry experience and real credits.
Of course, we're partial to the Santa Barbara International Screenplay Awards, where our #1 objective is to help writers bring their work up to the professional level. That is our sole purpose for that contest, is to improve your script so you can get it to a manager or an agent.
If you do well in a legitimate script contest, and you greatly improve the chances that your script will get noticed by those who can really get your career off to a running start. And that would be managers and agents.
When it comes to breaking in with the help of a manager or agent, you need to keep this in mind. This whole thing is a business, right? We learned that the hard way. And everyone involved is in it for the business. And that means they want to make money.
This business, where the audience is the paying customer, the business loves a great story because great stories sell tickets to that audience. So if you've written a great story and you've done the hard work of writing a script that truly has the potential for selling tickets, managers and agents will want to read it and they'll want to work with you. So what are the differences between managers and agents?
Okay, here we go. Here's the short version. Agents are primarily negotiators and deal makers. They actually function as sales brokers, pitching you and your work, helping you get meetings, and then negotiating the best possible price for your script or for your writing services.
Because they actually secure employment for you, agents are licensed and bonded by the state and by the Association of Talent Agents, called the ATA.
And because they're licensed by the state, agents must abide by codes and regulations which limit their commissions at 10%. That means that whatever you earn or sell, 10% comes right off the top.
Right off the top. Generally speaking, agents don't do a lot of hand-holding or provide much in the way of career guidance. They actually negotiate contracts and work hard to get the highest possible price for your scripts or for your writing services, should you be hired to write a script. And the higher that price, the more money an agent makes in commission.
Now, getting them on the phone, we've had this experience. To ask a question about your script isn't always easy because they probably have between 25 to 80 clients at any given time, and they need to earn their 10% commission from each and every one of those clients.
When you work with a manager, on the other hand, it's much more of a collaborative process. Your relationship with a manager becomes a bit more personal because managers will actually help you develop your material. They'll suggest the kinds of scripts you should be writing for the current market, and they generally will give real direction to your overall career as a whole.
So with a manager, it's not always about a particular script, but it's about everything a writer is working on. I guess that's why it's so important to find a manager who actually knows a lot about writing, as well as knowing what buyers are looking for.
Which isn't always a quick and easy thing.
No.
There are a lot of managers out there today. And while some have great taste in material and know what they're talking about in terms of story, character, and structure, there are some managers who really don't.
So it's really a partnership between a writer and a manager. And you've got to be sure that you have a partner who not only understands you as a writer, but who is willing to work to help you make the right connections.
Now, while agents are limited to earning the 10% because from the state they're licensing, they're limited to 10% of your earnings. But managers, since they're not limited by any licensing or state regulations, they generally start at 15% of commission. That means I've seen managers get as much as 25%. And some of the more prominent managers actually attach themselves to a client's project as a producer, and they get additional fees for that.
Does those additional fees, they come off the top of the writer's earnings, or
no,
the
they
studio?
Off the budget of the movie. Sure,
okay.
but they're making a lot of money, some of these managers.
We know that. That's why it's important for you to really like your manager and respect his or her guidance and opinions. They become, in many respects, very much like a business partner, and the business is you and your writing.
Yeah, I think it's important for you to actually like your manager, and for him or her to like you in return. You have to keep this in mind. It's a business of people, and managers will often help you connect with the people and the agents that they know.
But it's not like a regular friendship. Your friends don't work for you, and your manager should, which makes it more like a business partnership.
Right. You can call it friendly and hopefully profitable as a business relationship. But remember that before either of you make any money, your manager is going to invest a lot of time in you as a client, often with little or no guarantee of seeing a dime unless they can make something happen for you. So you see, compared to agents, managers are really playing the long game with the writers they work with.
Which is why managers tend to be pretty picky, and why they charge a higher commission than agents, because they generally have fewer clients than an agent will have. They generally have, around 10 to 15 clients, and tend to build their close relationships with each and every one of those.
Quite a bit fewer clients than most of the big agencies, certainly. So managers are trying to make money working for you. So you need to work just as hard as they do. It always starts with you writing a terrific script that shows a manager you understand the value of a strong concept and the timing of your script in today's marketplace.
Because managers aren't really in the business of selling a single script. They need to sell you as a writer. That's very important. So before you reach out to managers or agents, you really need to have at least three finished scripts and another 3 log lines or pitches ready to go.
That's because you need to make it clear that you're not just a one-off. You haven't just written your dream script and that's all you're ever going to write. Because a manager's investment of time and energy will ultimately pay very long-term dividends as you build your reputation with studios and producers.
It also shows the agent or producers that if you do get that dream job, that you can produce over and over. Okay, so let's assume that you have those 3 fabulous scripts, and each of them has placed well in a good, legitimate screenplay competition,
like the Santa Barbara International Screenplay Awards.
Exactly. We're a little biased. Whether you've won the grand prize, been a finalist, a semifinalist, or have just won an honorable mention, that says something about your work.
You really need to keep track of those wins and those placements and be ready to mention them at the drop of a hat. They don't mean nothing.
And they are important. We're often asked how many contests someone should enter. Is there a magic number that managers are looking
I
for?
don't think it's really about how many, but you need to enter multiple contests to get the kind of feedback you can use to make your script better. In that case, I see nothing wrong with entering as many as 3 or 4 contests.
That's the key. If you keep improving your script and then you become happy with it and you think you finally have that script,
Right.
that's what's important.
And you know that because you're getting this positive feedback from professionals who know what they're doing.
Right. We think that if your script has won or placed as a finalist in more than one contest, it's time to stop entering contests maybe and then start putting yourself out there as a writer.
Right. It's easy to just keep entering contests and never take the risk of getting out there in the real world.
It's kind of scary.
So once you've got some wins or you're placed as a finalist and your scripts are really pretty tight, it's time to go get some representation. It's time to stop depending on others to do it for you. You really need to get out and sell yourself, because the bottom line is that you're in the business of you.
So I just wanted to mention really quick, if you ask 10 writers how they got their agents or managers, everyone will have a different story. So
Right.
keep that in mind. There is no real exact formula. Okay, you have all that, 2 or 3 really good scripts, some other good ideas, and great elevator pitches.
Right. Then it's time to for some solid research into the world of literary representation. You need to find out who the hot young managers are, because they're always looking for clients, or who the new managers are who are seriously looking for writers to represent. And once you've identified those people, and remember, they're just people like you, people like me, they're eager for new opportunities and success. And once you've identified them, you need to start making them aware of yourself and your writing.
So you can do that fairly quickly by building an online presence for yourself and your work. Start with a solid profile on IMDb Pro. Pro accounts aren't free, but you'll get access to managers and agents, which is the key you might want to work with. There are also a number of directories published by The Hollywood Reporter, Daily Variety, and other entertainment industry publications.
Now, some of those publications aren't cheap, but they can be worth their weight in gold, because you'll find the names, phone numbers, and email contact information on everybody who's working in the business, including producers, managers, and agents.
That's right. And of course, the most powerful tool at your fingertips is the internet. And it's a tool you need to be using on a daily basis.
You know, I read that a studio executive recently kind of defended why he spent $15 million posting his movie's trailer on every imaginable online platform and social media.
That's a lot of money.
Right. 15 million bucks just to put the trailer online. And then he said, if you're not on the internet, you don't even exist. Well, the same thing is true for you as a writer.
Yep. You can have the greatest, most marketable screenplay in the world, but if you don't let the world know about it and about yourself as a writer, you'll be invisible. And this goes without saying. Be careful what you post on social media, whether it's politics or personal. It all matters.
For sure. You can be sure that any agent or manager interested in working with you is going to check you out on social media. So you don't want to come across as anything other than the kind of professional they want to work with. You know, it's better to use the internet to talk about your scripts and your writing, but maybe not so much about your politics.
You should also have your own website. First of all, you get to control all of the content, and you have all the room you need to present your bio, describe your writing process, and to basically let the world know that you're someone to be taken seriously as a screenwriter.
You know, your website is a place where you get to brand yourself. So it really needs to be about you as a writer worth paying attention to more than anything else.
It's really like a resume, but online.
Right.
Your website doesn't have to be ultra flashy or even have a lot of content. Think of it as sort of a living online resume or as a business card, just as a page or two where you can let people know a little bit about yourself and provide links to the samples of your work. Your
website should obviously include links to your IMDb and LinkedIn profiles. And if you don't have a profile page in those sites, at least the very least you should do is sign up for a free account and provide some basic information about yourself.
Having a good profile page on those sites is actually a pretty smart way to network with people in the business and to learn a lot about the business.
Right. It's you have to do some study for sure. Remember, this is a business of people, as I said before, and the job is to find the right people and introduce yourself to them. The best thing is to always put yourself in the shoes of the person you're trying to get to. And the way to do that is to find out what they're looking for in a client and then just be that client.
Just remember, it's a highly social business. If a manager or agent only works with television writers, then only reach out with your TV scripts. Other managers and agents only want to work with feature writers. So be sure that when you're the right client for the right manager or agent, you'll be wasting everybody's time, including your own, if you don't make sure.
Right. So exactly. It's about selling yourself and your talent and your work ethic. And what you're trying to do is solve somebody else's problem. You want to be the solution to their problem. And their problem is always finding the best clients to work with. So the real challenge is getting them to notice you. And you start that process by simply introducing yourself.
So the challenge becomes, what's the best way to reach out to managers and agents? The days of the cold calling on the phone are long gone. Besides, with caller ID on everyone's smartphone, nobody even answers a call from a number they don't recognize.
Right. You have to keep in mind, the reality is most managers get between 50 and 100 phone calls every day from people they actually need to hear from.
That's crazy, but
Right.
it's true. Today, everyone gets a lot of random emails, just like all of us. Managers are pretty good at hitting that delete key on unsolicited emails. That's not to say you shouldn't try emailing, but you'll get a better response if you can get the contact info for a manager's assistant and reach out to them.
And here's one very important thing to keep in mind. If you call or email a manager or agent, and the only one you can make contact with is their assistant, treat that assistant with the utmost of courtesy and friendliness. You may think they're just stonewalling you or brushing you off, but if you're polite, friendly, and businesslike, you'll be remembered. And more often than not, in a year or less, that same assistant will now be an agent or manager looking for their own clients.
Boy, is that so true.
Yeah.
How many times did we deal with the assistant only to...
We've talked to interns who 18 months later were agents at big agencies. So be nice to everybody is the point.
It's a very small business and people talk. So you want them saying nice things about you, kind of like school.
Right.
This is where persistence comes into play. Sometimes you can take a couple of months to get any kind of response, even from those assistants. The trick is not to give up.
Right. Because it's a business of people and relationships, you need to really get out from behind the keyboard and make some human contact.
Yeah.
Look for those people who can help you. And when you find those people, the challenge is you need to somehow connect with them. One way to do that is sign up for some of the online showcases. Inktip and Blacklist, for example, are two of the better ones for getting your work in front of industry professionals looking for new writers and good scripts.
Wherever you live, there are screenwriting groups, conferences, film festivals, and pitch fest, all of which are great places to make connections. Attending local theater productions can lead to unexpected contact producers and agents. I must emphasize that oftentimes you might get introduced or run into other writers. And if you talk, oftentimes they will recommend you to their agent. So it's very important. You just don't know where your contacts are going to lead.
More often than not, we've gone to plays, and during the intermission of a play, you're out in the lobby kind of getting a Diet Coke or whatever, and the people who you're rubbing shoulders with are agents and managers. So don't be shy. Introduce yourself to people, find out why they're there, and explain why you're there. And the more you talk about yourself as a writer, the more people will respect you as somebody with some ambition. So when it comes to the business of screenwriting, you need to ask yourself a couple of tough questions. How many emails are you sending out? What are you saying in those emails? How many phone calls are you making? Are you keeping a spreadsheet where you log all those emails and calls, where you write down the name of who answers, who responds to you? You need to keep track of these things.
As we've said before, you're a writer, but you're also in the writing business. So you need to treat all of this like you would any other business.
Right. That means keeping a good record of everything you do and what your results are. Anything less than 5 to 10 emails going out every weekday, I think, means you're not really serious about this. That's 50 emails a week.
That sounds like a lot.
It does, but
but you need to do that.
You have to work as hard at this as you do at the writing itself.
Right.
And if you do that consistently for 3 or 4 weeks, you write a great email that quickly and succinctly introduces yourself, mentions your recent writing successes. This is where the contest wins come in.
Yeah.
Your sincere interest in finding representation. Trust me, people will respond to you.
Even if you're really making an effort, doing your homework and reaching out to people, you're probably getting plenty of rejection. That's the name of the business, by the way. But don't give up. or you're hearing a lot of crickets in response to your efforts.
Right, but don't take any of it personally, right? Because
Never.
you really have no control over what other people are doing or how they react to you or your material.
It's kind of hard not to take it personally sometimes.
Right.
I remember those days.
Yeah, but you have to get over it.
Yes, get over it. The writer who makes a good impression in some way, either personally or online or with an amazing script, that's the writer who gets signed by an agent or a manager. Of course, one way to get noticed by managers and agents is to do well in a reputable screenplay contest. And we keep emphasizing this because it's an opinion from someone that is in the business, hopefully. So you have to be very careful.
Exactly. That's the fact is not all screenplay contests are equal. And that's really why we started the Santa Barbara International Screenplay Contest and the Wiki Screenplay Contest. That was to provide legitimate professional feedback that helps writers develop material ready to present to agents and managers.
Now let's quickly summarize things a writer needs to do to get that first manager or agent.
Okay.
And before I say that, or we say that, I want to emphasize again, there is no right way to get a manager and agent. You just don't know where your contacts are going to lead, but these are the basic things that you can do to start.
Right. I think number one, have 3 good scripts ready to go. Then get the professional feedback on your work. A good screenplay contest with that uses other writers who have actually had their work produced as the judges.
Build a personal website that describes you as a disciplined, ambitious writer with great material. And by the way, we've done that. It's fun.
Yeah, exactly. It's a little bit of an ego thing, but everybody who is working in the business has a presence online.
That's right.
So build your online profiles at IMDb and LinkedIn. Showcase your work at places like Inktip and the Blacklist. And always remember, when you communicate with people, do so professionally. You want to build a list of managers and agents and the industry contacts that you want to reach out to.
And I just wanted to mention, we have a lot of writers who don't live in Los Angeles or New York, and they often ask, do they need to move to Los Angeles? I think if you're in the television business, it's important. But if you're a screenwriter and want to write that movie that you've been dreaming about, places like Blacklist, they have over 700 industry people that take a look at people's scripts, and it's a great place to showcase your writing, and you should look into that.
Just make sure your script is ready for that.
That's the important thing.
Right.
You got to make sure your script is ready to go.
So again, you want to build this list of managers, agents, and contacts and keep track of that.
That's right. A good place to start would be the Writers Guild of America website. Anybody can access that, where you'll find a list of all the agents who are guild signatories. Then craft an email query letter and start sending it out.
And finally, develop a plan, schedule your outreach, stick to a schedule, and keep a record of all your contacts. Keep a record of your rejections and keep a record of your progress and follow through on things.
Okay, we have a lot of questions from everyone, so we should dig in.
Okay.
Let's try and answer.
Before we do, I just want to give everybody here a little gift. I think we mentioned that at the very beginning here. I just published my 4th book called A Hollywood Screenwriter, An Insider's Guide to Professional Screenwriting. It's not quite as irreverent as my first 3 books in the Stop Screwing Around series, but it really does lay out the steps for writing screenplays that will get you noticed as a professional. And I just hope you'll check it out.
Now we can get to some of the questions. We'll try and answer as many as we can.
Sure. We actually got some email questions. And the first one is, what exactly can a manager and agent do that I can't do myself? Well, they have contacts. They've been in the business for some time. They're doing this 24/7. What they can do is make introductions for you, and they can expose your material far better than you can do that yourself. Unless you're a Hollywood insider, maybe you've got an uncle who owns a studio.
That helps.
That helps.
Yeah.
But the reality is, managers and agents are doing this seriously 24/7. They never relax.
And until you get that agent or manager, by all means, go out and network. You might be almost as good as they are at it. You won't have the number of contacts, but never ever give up on promoting yourself, because even when you do find that a manager or agent, you still need to work just as hard as they do.
Right.
When is it time to find a manager and an agent? Well, when that script, that 1 or 2 or 3 scripts are ready to go, because that's the first thing that they're going to read. Trust me, it's not just your personality alone. Of course, they're going to want to know if you're going to be good in a room and pitching your ideas. But the number one thing is having a script ready to go. And this is why Bob and I decided to get involved in the screenplay contest, because we as writers and I as an actor know how important a script is. You basically only get one shot.
Right.
An agent manager will read your script once or maybe the first 10 pages. If it doesn't move them, it's over.
So the question is, when's a good time to find a manager? Well, anytime the script is ready is the time. And the worst time is before the script is ready, because you only get one shot. If you send a script to a manager or an agent that hasn't won a contest, hasn't placed as a finalist, isn't really in terrific shape, that's too early, and it will really hurt your chances down the road. So be careful about that. So here's another question. Is it possible to get a deal, sell a script without a manager and just use an entertainment lawyer for paperwork? Well, sure. If you can sell a script without a manager or agent, my hat's off to you. That means you have a lot of connections in the industry, or you have people with a lot of money willing to finance your movie, right?
Right. Exactly.
Right. Well, I think it's I'll put it this way. If it's difficult to find a manager or agent, it's 100 times more difficult to sell a script without one. The next question is a good one. I want to send out my emails, my query emails. What should be in those emails? What should I write? Well, I think you want to write as little as possible. These people get a lot of emails. They get a lot of queries.
Again, you have one shot.
You introduce yourself very briefly, 1 or 2 sentences. Hi, my name is Robert, and I live in California, and I'm a screenwriter. That kind of a thing. And then 2 lines about the material you want to send them. I have a script that deals with blank. That kind of a thing. Don't make it too long. Make it very succinct. Talk about yourself. Talk about the script. And you might even mention the fact you have several others in the same genre.
And this is also an opportunity, if you've won or placed in a screenplay contest, this is the time to put that in there.
Right. Mention that for
because
sure.
Even though there is, for some people, there's some controversy about whether a screenplay is worth it or not. It's very worth it if you get feedback from experienced industry professionals, because basically they are helping you improve your script. And that's what it's all about. Some screenplay contests offers managers and agents. We just would like to tell you, be extremely careful about that. A lot of people can say that. So you need to do your due diligence on if that's a good thing to do, or if they really offer that and they follow through on it.
Sure. Well, here's another good question. This is for you, Suzanne. What are managers and agents looking for in a new client?
Oh, well, they're looking for enthusiasm. They're looking, of course, for a great script. They're looking for your ideas, and they also want to know what else are you doing to get noticed and to get good contacts. What can you do to help your manager push you through?
How can you solve their problem?
Yeah.
I just want to thank everybody for coming today. I hope it's been some help. I know it's not what you want. What you want is a phone number and our personal recommendation. That's not the way the business works. It works when you go to work.
Yeah.
So write the best possible script. Michael has the last question here. Is the Santa Barbara contest still open? Yes, it is. I don't know when the deadline is, but I think it's next month. That it's very much open.
And if you have any other questions we didn't answer, please reach out to us again, and we will make sure, or we'll try very hard to answer them.
Sure.
And one of the most important things is never give up.
Right. Remember this. We're more than about webinars. We're really here to help you. So when you have a question about how to fix a script, what to do next, send us an email, info@SantaBarbaraScreenplayAwards.com. We'll do our very best to answer it.
Bob and I feel very fortunate that we had 2 successful careers, and we have so much knowledge, and we just want to share. Thank you, everyone, and we'll see you at the movies.